Your life's not like anyone else's, and chances are you found yourself on adventures you never planned to take. It's all part of this crazy journey we call life. Learning how to embrace the unexpected while working to live your best life is not easy, but you've come to the right place. Because in my world, if it's highly unlikely, it's practically guaranteed to happen. I'm Lavina Perry, and this is the Highly Unlikely Podcast. Have you ever made a commitment to do something or made an investment in something and you get into it only to realize that you have made a big mistake? Or have you had even a worse experience where you know that you're doing something all wrong, but you feel powerless to actually do anything to change it or to stop it or to fix it? Welcome to the Highly Unlikely Podcast. Today we're going to dig into what to do if you've gotten off course and need to get yourself back on track. When I decided to do this episode, I wasn't sure if I was the right person to talk about this because I have needed to make course corrections so many times in my life. But then I thought, well, doesn't that make me the perfect person to talk about it because I have so much experience having to fix things and get myself back on track? So here I am, hopelessly flawed, working to make my dreams a reality and helping you to make your dreams a reality. So let's dig into what you need to do if you need to get your life back on track and correct course. The first thing is you need to figure out what went wrong. You need to dig into the root of where you got off track and why. So this could be a mindset problem. This could be your limiting beliefs. This could be destructive habits. It could be environmental factors that you're just not setting yourself up for success in your environment. It could also be relationships, or even a lack of understanding or education about how to be successful at the thing that you're trying to do, or how to be successful at keeping yourself really grounded and on track to get where it is that you want to go. Whatever it is, it could even be, stress or other challenges that you're facing that are getting in your way, but it's important to understand what happened in order to prevent it from happening again. So let's say if you're trying to get healthier or you need to lose 20 pounds, but you've failed like 10 times, chances are you're making the same mistake over and over again. So really digging down to figure out what happened and why you keep getting off course when you're working on your goals is important to being able to make real progress forward and make lasting change. But whatever it is, it's important to figure out why so that you don't have to continue to correct course, that you can actually achieve your goal. Once you have an understanding of what went wrong and why, the next thing to do is to refocus on where it is that you're heading and what goal you're trying to achieve. This may mean that you need to rewrite some of the goals that you had. It may mean that you've come up with a completely new goal. If you got into some sort of a training or you've gone down a professional path and realize that it's just not for you, you may need a completely new goal. Your goal may simply be to figure out what it is that you want to achieve professionally or what business you want to run. And it might have nothing to do with the one that you're currently doing. And that's sometimes a really scary place to be. But you have the ability to set that goal, whatever it is, and then figure out what it is that you need to do to achieve it. But you need to focus on what it is that you want to do and where it is that you want to go in order to actually achieve anything. And that requires you to focus. Some things that you need to do, some strategies that you need to put in place to help you focus could be having a vision board or creating milestones for your goals so that you have smaller mini goals on your way to achieving your big goal, keeping a progress journal, definitely having a plan, figuring out how you're going to get where you need to go. And sometimes it just means learning to say no. So back to the health and fitness goals, if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, but your friends like to go to lunch 3 or 4 times a week, and that's where you're falling apart is at restaurants, it may simply mean that you need to say no either to what it is that you normally order or no to going to the restaurant at all until you can develop some healthier habits, and it will be a little bit easier to go to those restaurants and pick something healthy to eat rather than falling back on what you've been eating. But none of that happens until you have identified what your goal is, written it down, and gotten yourself refocused with understanding of what went wrong and what you're going to do differently to make progress this time. The next thing after you have your goal set and you're focused in on what it is that you need to do is you need to set yourself up for success. So you may need to sign up for a course or find an accountability partner. That's a really big one that a lot of people don't do. Like, they don't want to have an accountability partner because then if they fail, nobody really knows about it, which is why accountability partners are so important. So find somebody that is going to check in with you and that you will have to check in with either on a daily or a weekly basis, that you can say, here's what happened today. These are the missteps I made, or these are the successes that I had, to really help you to stick to what it is that you're doing. Another way to set yourself up for success is by putting reminders on your phones or to-do lists in your calendar. You can also, what I do, because I love Post-it notes, might have a small Post-it note addiction problem. I like to put Post-it notes up to remind me of what it is that I'm working on. So if there's a new mindset or some new thought patterns that I'm trying to develop, I might write down key phrases and put them on my mirror where I can see them, or stick them in my car to remind me each day of how it is that I want to look at the world and the thought processes and the mindsets that I'm trying to achieve. So right now I have a Post-it note in my car because being on time is something that's really important to me, that I've made a lot of progress with in the last couple of years. Every time I was running a little bit behind, I would be like, oh, well, I'll just make it up in drive time. And then I would hit all of these stoplights and I would be like, every time I'm running behind, I hit every traffic light and it just makes me later. And I realized that's a completely wrong mindset to have. And so I put a Post-it note in my car that is like, hitting every light is a reminder that you need to leave early. And so I'll tell myself, oh, so this is the universe telling me to remember to leave a little bit early so that if I hit every traffic light, I still won't be late. Because my thought processes and my mindset are a huge focus of mine, to really change the way that I interact with the universe and the energy that I put out, the energy that I receive, which has been kind of an evolving journey. So I will put up Post-it notes that will help me to reset that mindset during the day and reset those thought processes to be more in line with my goals. So those are the types of things that you need to be thinking about when you're trying to set yourself up for success. Are you doing things that are going to help you be successful at accomplishing your goal? Do you need to remove the alcohol from your house in order to quit drinking? Do you need to cut up your credit cards and remove them from your saved cards in Google That's right, because now it's even easier to use those credit cards because everything is saved and convenient for us. Do you need to remove those things to help you stop spending on your credit cards? Do you need to distance yourself from toxic relationships by not responding quickly to phone calls and text messages? Do you need to consider looking for a new job to get out of a dead end job that you're currently stuck in and unhappy at? There are actions you can take to prepare yourself to be successful at accomplishing your goals. And doing the work to create that foundation for success is going to be the difference between whether or not you achieve your goal or whether or not 6 months from now you're right back doing a course correction all over again. So, this is a really important step. And this may take time and have to happen incrementally. You may not be able to make all of the changes in your world that you need to be successful all at once. As long as you start somewhere, you could start with the really easy things of putting a calendar reminder in your phone or setting an alarm each day to remind you to get up and do that workout. Those are really easy things that you can do. And you can work up to some of the bigger things, like finding that new job or ending that toxic friendship that is just dragging you down and making you feel like you're not worthy to accomplish the dreams that you have set up for yourself. But you are the one in control of making those changes, however slowly you need to make them. Just start somewhere and start setting yourself up for success at achieving your goals. Once you've started doing all of these things to get yourself back on the right track and you're starting to make that momentum forward, you need to focus on creating habits that will allow you to have that success long term. So, to create new habits, there are some very basic, across the board things that everybody talks about when you're trying to create a new habit, like setting up a new routine. New routines take time to be ingrained in what you're doing. So you might want to write down your routine and put it on your bathroom mirror. So every day when you wake up, you have your routine right in front of you and you know exactly what you need to do first thing when you wake up in the morning. You might put your routine in your notes on your phone, or you might have a calendar reminder that pops up with your routine that comes up at the same time every day. Just depending on what it is that you're working on and when you need that routine to pop up. Some routines might be if you're going to start going to the gym after work instead of working out before bedtime or working out first thing in the morning, you might need a calendar reminder to pop up and say, hey, don't forget to go to the gym. So when you're starting a new routine, it's really important to have reminders about the routine. And this is where your accountability buddy will also come in really handy because they will remind you about what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Another great way to work on new habits is by starting your day with writing things down. So if you start your day by writing out your intentions for the day or writing out your dream that you're working on, somehow getting yourself into that mindset where you're focused on the goal that you're trying to achieve, this will help you to stay on track. And it also becomes a habit in and of itself, which is great. So I highly encourage you to get a notebook and a pen, put it by your bed, and every morning when you wake up, start with a little bit of writing. It doesn't have to be a whole page, it doesn't have to be incredibly descriptive, but it does need to be something where you're setting your intention for the day. I am going to work out and eat nutritious food all day long. And your dream is, I am going to lose 20 pounds and get back into my size 6 jeans. Whatever the goal is that you're working on, just set that intention, write down your end goal that you're working on, and get yourself immediately focused on what your goal is and what path you are on so that you don't get derailed during the day. And the last part is don't give up trying. So it's really easy to get down on yourself when you have gotten off course over and over again in working towards the same goal. It's a really hard thing when you're the reason for your failure. You can't blame someone else or there wasn't anything big happen, but it's just that you haven't done the work that you need to do to accomplish your goal. It's really easy to start turning this negative energy to the inside and saying that I'm a failure, I'm lazy, I don't work hard enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not as good as so and so who's super successful at doing this thing that I want to do. I would remind you that no one lives a perfect life and gets things right the first time. You are entitled to make mistakes and correct course and get yourself back where you need to be as many times as you need to until you get it right. You are going to have to correct course in your life more than one time. And sometimes these could be small course corrections, or sometimes they're really big course corrections, like cleaning up a really big financial mess where you have just gone off the rails and gotten yourself thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. That's going to take time to fix, especially if it's years of bad financial choices that have gotten you into the mess to begin with. But by using the steps that I have outlined here, you are setting yourself up to not have those big course corrections happen. You may still have to make small adjustments. You may get a little bit off track, but if you are getting down to the root of what is causing you to get off track and you're spending time getting clear goals so that you can refocus yourself and you're taking the necessary steps to set yourself up for success, those things are going to make it so that when you do have to correct course, because you will have to correct course multiple times in your life, that those course corrections are small, or maybe they're just refining corrections. And they're not these massive course corrections that take years to get yourself back on track. And I would also say, I want you to remember that it doesn't matter if you fall down 7 times, as long as you stand back up 8 times. Because if you keep getting back up and you keep correcting course and you keep working to achieve your goals, you will have the life that you want and you will achieve your goals and you will make your dreams your reality. And that's all I have for you today. So until next time, take care of yourself, be kind, and live your best life. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Highly Unlikely Podcast, you can find more by following me on Facebook at A Highly Unlikely Life or find me on the web at ahighlyunlikelylife.com. And don't forget to subscribe.